Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? It is great to have you with me. The Vikings get their second victory of the season against their second high grade opponent. Oh, wait. Ha! Not really. No, not really. We're going to get into this game. We're going to get into what this game means, not only for the short term, but the long term as well. If you didn't already do so, hit that like button on your way in. And if this is your first time and you don't already subscribe to Purple and Gold for Days, hit that subscribe button as well. Let's get some shout outs because I know we got some people in the chat here. And the winner of the first chat of the night goes to my brother, Grandpa Dave. If you also don't subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL, both on YouTube and your favorite aggregator, please subscribe there as well. Thank you, Dave, as always. Shout out my guy, Gary, in the building. What is going on, Gary? Good to see you here. We got Scolger Soup in the building. What's going on, Scolger? We got Greg in the building. What's up, G-Mac? Thanks again for joining. My guy, Mike Castellino. I can't wait, and he's got the popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready because I'm not holding back. You know what? I saw a picture of you, Gary. I'm hoping you had a really good time with those guys. David Thibodeau's in the building. What's going on? Good to see you, David. Good to see you as well. Let's see. We got this. This is going to be a good show tonight. I hope to live up. I hope to live up to it. I hope to live up to it. Scold your soup. I agree, but it's a win. It's a win. Yeah, it is a win. We got to take. Here we go. Skull or something like that. This single greatest Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, MySpace handle of all time. My worthless opinion. I love that. I love that handle. One, because it's genius. And two, because your opinion is rarely, if ever, worthless, especially on my channel. What's going on, Ryan? Good to see you. Hey, Ryan, great video tonight. Great video. Good to see you. We got a house call from the doctor, Dr. Proto, in the building. What's going on, doctor? Good to see you. SKOL for Life Barber, 1975. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining. We got Sarah in the building. Did y'all see Tyler's pocket? Which one, Sarah? He does a few. He does a few there as well. We got the Polishman 87. Good to see you here as well. Polishman, good to see you last night. Good to see you here. Yes, Mike. What do you got for me? What do you got? While you are putting in what you got, I'm going to start the show as I always do. And with everything going on in the world today, as always, you know, we put a little something extra in it. But as I shout each and every one of you who puts a comment in and shows me support, I have to shout out others who have supported us and others that support me, you, and every citizen of this country. I'm talking about the active and veteran members of our military, all of our armed forces, as well as their families, for the sacrifices that they have made for us to have the freedoms that we do. Shout out to the brave men and women who serve as our police officers, firefighters, and EMS, who in times of danger and tragedy are the ones running towards the danger to help the rest of us get away from it. To the doctors, nurses, frontline workers, home health care providers, surgeons who take care of us in our times of need. Thank you so very, very much to you guys and gals as well. The individuals that I have named here in all of these groups at times work thankless jobs. So for as long as I got this microphone, I'm going to shout them out. Hope it doesn't bother you. Hope you don't think I'm grandstanding because I know they got a comment on that. Whatever. I'm just saying thank you. If that bothers you, that's your problem, not mine. But I digress. Gonna get a little bit of music here. Now, SKOL Mafia, if you ever get in the building, you're gonna have to remind me to change the music up once in a while. We're gonna start with the classics. But actually, before we do that, shout out to Gary for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate you. I gotta give you one of these, Gary. Oh, the volume was messed up, so we're gonna do it again for you, Gary. And a Ric Flair. All righty. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you, Gary. All right. Who else is in the building? We got Caesar Augustus. And when we lose to San Francisco, we need to bench Kirk. We've fallen too far down the draft. I'm going to get to that, Caesar. I'm going to get to that. Two-Tone Tony's in the building. What's going on, Two-Tone? Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Sean the Bomb in the building. What's going on, Sean? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you coming by. was just saying hi. Since you want a question, what are the chances you think we make any trades before this deadline? I'm going to talk about that, but I'll just say this. It depends on what happens in the next 2 weeks because the trading deadline is the Tuesday after the Green Bay Packers game. It really does depend on what happens in this next 2 weeks. And let me just give you a forewarning. I don't think it has anything to do with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. I think he wants to trade off all of the pieces of pending free agents. But he has to convince his bosses, Ziggy and Mark Wilf, that this is a good move because we all know Ziggy and Mark Wilf, they want to be competitive every year. They don't want to go up and down. They want to stay steady. And if you trade off Danielle Hunter and KJ Osborne and maybe Harrison Smith and, before he got hurt, Ezra Cleveland, and dare I say you find a way to move on from the quarterback, as highly as unlikely as that is, at the same time, the owner's got to sign off on that. So we'll get back to that later. Frozen North, what's going on? Hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Okay, there you go. Skolden is in the building. Thanks for joining me, Skolden. I appreciate you. Hit them like buttons if you hit the like button if you didn't. I appreciate you, Frozen. I appreciate you. You will hold. Get the LA King. Let me talk to you. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. Mediocre. You right. Two-toned. You are right. There are several levels of trusted corporate. Yeah. Well, there is that. So before I get any further, let me turn that on and let me turn this back on. And now I'm going to cut the music down to a lower volume. There we go. Just like that. There we go. We're going to start with what? The NFC North roundup. We all know the Vikings beat the Bears and the Packers were off this week. The Detroit Lions went down to Tampa Bay and won 20-6. This division isn't over, but it's getting close to being over. I didn't want to admit it at the start of the season that this was going to be Detroit's year to be Kings of the North. I thought that was going to be next year, but 6 points they gave up. Their defense is legit in the Buccaneers building. The team that scored 20 against us. At the end of the day, if it's not us, I always say what? Anybody but Green Bay. So congratulations to the Lions, but I digress. The Minnesota Vikings are now 2-0 against teams that are 1-11. Oh, the Vikings were 2-4 in 1999, and then Jeff George replaced Randall Cunningham, and we went 8-2 and got a wild card spot and got into the divisional round of the playoffs. So we can do that again, right? No, probably not. Would it be an amazing turnaround? Yes. Would it be worth it to just lose in the wild card or division round of the playoffs? I don't think so. Some others might. Now, let me start off by saying this. And I said this last night, and I said it on my my Purple and Scold Media appearance tonight. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, whether you want to lose games to get a better draft pick, or if you want to just keep on trying to win, whichever side of the aisle you're on, I don't care. But I don't want to hear from either side who's a fan and who's not, and who's a good fan and who's a bad fan, or who's a bandwagon fan. I am so sick to death about hearing that. It is almost as infuriating as the Civil War over Kirk Cousins. I don't care. Both sides are entitled to their opinion because we all have the same goal. We want to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl before we die. We just want to see them win a Super Bowl. So yes, if you believe that it's better to finish with 7 wins and be in the mediocre again, great. I don't agree with that. I think that once it's apparent that the season just is what it is, I'm never going to cheer for losses, but what I am going to be is like, I'm not disappointed when they lose because this team needs a lot of holes filled. It is in massive, massive despair. And I know we don't want to say that, but congratulations to the Minnesota Vikings. You barely squeaked out a victory against the Bears yesterday. You barely squeaked out a victory against the Carolina Panthers. Whoop-de-ding-dong. 2-0 against teams that are 11-1. Hang the banner. Some of y'all want to say, hey, we can get back into this. And San Francisco is injured and they're vulnerable. Do they still have their offensive and defensive lines, ladies and gentlemen? Because if they do, it don't matter. They have Deebo Samuel and Run DMC. With Deebo Samuel and Run DMC, I would pick the 49ers to win by 17 to 21 points. Without those two guys, I pick them to win by 7 to 10. So, spoiler alert for when I give my predictions, unless something comes up between now and Monday night when we do the prediction segment. Yeah, the San Francisco 49ers are not vulnerable. In fact, they're pissed off because their kicker missed a daggone 41-yard field goal, and now they're no longer undefeated. See, you never want the team you're about to face the following week to lose, because then they're pissed off. You want them to win if you want to have a shot at beating them, particularly when they're the superior team. If you think that this team can rally like the 1999 team did with Jeff George, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Robert Smith, John Randall, Robert Griffith, Jerry Ball, and company, okay. I don't mind the optimism. I don't agree with it. Again, I'm not cheering for losses. I'm just saying we've beaten two god-awful teams. As I said on Thursday, we are bottom feeders. And I know that is very difficult for some people to hear and even more difficult for some people to admit. But let's go through Chicago real quick. I'm not even go through Carolina. All I'm going to say on Carolina is Detroit did what it was supposed to do and won 42-24 and just mollywopped them while we beat them by one score. Oh, wow. Here's the Bears' god-awful defense. Gives up 38 points in week 1 to Jordan Love, by the way. Gives up 27 points to the Buccaneers, 41 to the Chiefs, 31 to the Broncos, and 20 to the Washington Commanders, which means the Minnesota Vikings against that vaunted Bears god-awful defense, not the 85 Bears, not the mid-2000 Bears, but the 2023 Bears, who were either last or second to last defensively going into this week. We score a whopping 19 points, 0 offensive points in the second half against a backup quarterback that nobody heard of out of a Division II school, and you couldn't score any offensive points. I mean, again, the Vikings should have, again, you should have beat Carolina by at least 10 to 14 points. You should have beat Chicago by at least 10 to 14 points. I know, we don't have Justin Jefferson out there. Okay. But again, these are two bad teams, and that's why we're a bad team. Hopefully we can get it turned around. I'd love to see it get turned around. I'd love to actually have wins against halfway decent teams to be able to talk about, to say, hey, the Vikings performed really well today. Well, 1-11. That's the combined records of the team we've beaten. And some of y'all think we can go to the playoffs. Okay. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game. Back to the chats. What you guys got going on here for me? I know you got something. They just haven't put the bow on it yet. Well, again, I'm just going to leave it at that. They deserve it. Yeah, I totally agree. Let's go. Ryan's got, sadly, this team doesn't have the heart to make a massive run. I totally agree. And Gary agrees with you too. SKOL Mafia in the building. What's going on? I mentioned you a moment ago, but here you are. Thank you kindly for joining me. Last year sucked, one and done. Yeah, at best, in the best case scenario, the best case scenario you could possibly think of is if this team somehow found a way to get a wild card, because you can just throw the division right out the window. That's just not going to happen. But best case scenario, they're a wild card team, which means they're going to be going to either the 2 seed, the 3 seed, or, well, no, the 2 seed or the 3 seed, because they're not getting the first wild card spot. Dallas or Philly, whoever doesn't win that division will take the 5 spot. So you're going to either be the 6 or the 7, which means you're going to go to either Detroit or San Francisco or Philadelphia or possibly Dallas. You ain't winning that game on the road against any of them teams. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Frozen North, what do you got here? We're going to get a lot of holes versus San Francisco. Frozen, that's the line of the night so far. That's the line of the night. Chicago is a hard place to put. We've won 4 games in a row there, though, Two-Tone. I mean, it's not. Yes, there have been much better Viking teams that have found a way to lose in Soldier Field, but no, they should have done a little bit more. Gary says Monday night's going to be embarrassing. I don't disagree at the moment. Greg says Jeff George. Now there's a guy who didn't love a check down. You are correct, me boy. You are correct. It's going to be a tough one to watch. That might be the game I turn off at halftime. There you go. T-Bass in the building. What's up, T-Bass? People out there, no matter what, no matter who they are. Wait a minute. People out there that no matter who they are, but they are wearing purple, think that they are great. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my cup of tea. I totally agree. I'm not a homer. I'm a realist. And you know what's funny? I said this last night with Rap. If I came on this show and said to you guys, hey, we got to win against Chicago. And you know what? We could get a win against San Francisco. And then we got the easy part of our schedule. We can beat Green Bay and we can beat Atlanta and we can have a tough game against New Orleans, but then we can beat Denver and then we can beat Chicago. Y'all would be laughing. Y'all be putting in the chat, Justin, who body snatched you and put your doppelganger in. Y'all know I'd be lying through my teeth if I went duckies and bunnies on it. Now, yes, if you beat San Francisco, as highly as unlikely as that is, even with them being shorthanded, that'll show me something. That'll show me something. Then maybe I'm listening to that. But right now, I think they're going to get mollywomped. And until I see otherwise, no, this team does not have the capability, in my opinion, right now. I hope I'm wrong. Anyways, I think the defense of ours is getting better week after week. I'm going to touch on that too, Tone. I'm going to touch on that. I don't think we would have beat the Bears if Fields didn't get hurt. No, I don't necessarily disagree. And you want to know what else? Whatever that backup guy's name was, if Fields had gotten hurt, say, in the second quarter, I think we lose that game because I think they go into halftime. They make their halftime adjustments with the new quarterback in there. So, yeah, either if Fields doesn't get hurt or if he gets hurt earlier, I think we lose that game. I think that we lose that game. Absolutely. Vikings are going to get beat like the redheaded stepchild. Oh, Mateo, that's why I love having you here. This team lost its identity many years ago when it moved indoors. Unfortunately, most fans don't remember it. That would be me. No, I don't remember. But, that's what a lot of people say is that they lost their identity. Shout out to Eric in the building. What's going on, Eric? Thank you kind of for joining me. Well, let's hit the reset button. If you didn't hit the like buttons on the way in, please do so. And if you haven't subscribed to Purple and Gold today, Purple and Gold for days, please hit me up and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you very much. Frozen North says, okay, that's what I thought. Definitely welcome. Yeah. Two Tone says Bench Hawkinson. I can't totally disagree with you. I think it's pathetic that we're even talking that way, but I can't totally disagree with you, Two Tone. As you mentioned, 99, two of our teams in our history started 2-4 fidget with double-digit low. What was the other one? What was the other one, Dave? Because I sure don't know. Vikings about to show Riley their points blown out again. Oh, Mateo. All right, let's get back. We're going to get positive for a minute or two here. We're going to get positive. Who gets the game balls? Well, second runner-up, Danielle Hunter. 7 tackles, 6 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, and 1 pass defense. I will say this. I love Danielle Hunter. I wish that instead of just renegotiating his deal, the Vikings would have actually given him a long-term contract. And if we get mollywopped, as I anticipate, by San Francisco, and if we lose to Green Bay, I'm sorry, you got to move this guy and wish him the best. But my gosh, he was a man-child yesterday. He was an absolute man-child. There's not much else to say. This guy is almost about to pass Jared Allen in sacks. Almost. And he's a lot younger. And he's doing it in fewer games. This guy's a beast. Absolutely beast. Second runner-up goes to Byron Murphy, who got the game-sealing interception. In fact, you know what? Instead of just talking about it, let's actually watch it one more time.
Coming up on the 2-minute warning. Bajan lets it fly, but it's a duck and it's intercepted. Byron Murphy picked it off.
The only bad thing about that play is he fumbled the ball because the guy caught up. And who put it in the chat? Who here? The most ridiculous part of that is that he fumbled. And we all thought that the Bears were going to recover it because that would be such a Vikings thing to intercept the pass. And he's running when after about 10 or 15 yards, he probably should have gone down. But hey, we got the recovery. We got the victory. Byron Murphy gets the first runner-up as far as who gets the game ball. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys already have figured out. I'm pretty sure it's easy to figure out who gets the game ball. And that, of course, is Mr. Hicks. And I'm calling him Mr. Hicks because he's the boss yesterday. He absolutely dominated that game defensively. An interception, fumble return for a touchdown. It was the only points we got in the second half, by the way, because our offense sure didn't do diddly poo. But I digress. Kevin O'Connell was gushing about Mr. Hicks. So let's hear what he had to say real quick.
He's basically a unanimous captain voted by his teammates, and he's somebody that I really lean on. He's seen so much football. He's been so productive for a long time. He's our green dot. But what Jordan did today kind of rivaled what Harry did against the Panthers. He was not going to be denied a chance to be the guy to go out there and respond. How he was on the sideline, how he was all week in prep as one of our core leaders, showing up the way he did today.
There are a lot of times where Kevin O'Connell can just give a lot of coach speech, and we're going to talk about him and we're going to talk about Cousins in here in just a couple of moments. But he could not have anything more to say about Jordan Hicks than he did. And frankly, I can't either. What's really funny about it is the vast majority of Vikings Nation thought that Hicks should be the one to get cut and that we should have kept Eric Kendricks. And my guy SK from Purple and Skull Media pointed it out a week before the season starts. I think Hicks is going to have a great season. And we all laughed at him. I laughed at him. Rap laughed at him. And we all laughed at him like, Jordan Hicks, guy took a pay cut, and that's the only reason he stayed on the team. Well, unanimous vote to be a captain. Well-deserved. And well-deserved game ball, Mr. Hicks. Well-deserved. Let's get back to the comments here. What do you guys got for me? I know there's a couple new people in the building. Bench Hawk and bring out Munt. The punt game. What's interesting about it is Josh Oliver is ranked number 1 in blocking and like top 5 in overall tight ends. I'm almost ready to say, you know what, TJ, you got your bag and you have had too many drops. Now, again, drops happen, but when they happen to the same guy over and over again, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Hawkinson. I shans to think that it had to do with the fact that he missed a good portion of training camp, and I can listen to part of that because you got to work on your timing and stuff, but what the heck happened? He didn't have it. Here's what's funny. The Detroit Lions fan said, oh, yeah, we ripped you guys off. You're going to see what Hawkinson, he drops a lot of passes. He didn't drop a whole lot of passes last year, I don't think. I don't recall him dropping a lot. I recall him 1 week into being traded, we went out to face the Commanders, and he had like 7-8 catches or something like that. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Is Monday too early in the season to flex, or does the league just need deliciously satisfying close? Oh, no. The first game that they can flex is the Monday Night Football game that is scheduled between the Bears and the Vikings. And you can be for damn sure they are going to flex the Vikings and the Bears out of that Monday Night Football game. There is no way. And what's really funny about them, I said this while I was watching that game yesterday, that set football back by 20 years. That was a disgusting game. And that's part of the reason why I'm so pissed off listening to, hey, we won a game and you know what? We're on our way. That was not the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens when Pittsburgh had Troy Polamalu and the Ravens had Ed Reed, and it was just a defensive struggle, and it was two great defensive teams. No, these were two anemic offenses. They were absolutely awful. It was a pitiful performance by both teams. Neither one of those teams deserved to win. Neither one of them. And honestly, there's a part of me that I'm not saying I was cheering for a loss, but there's a part of me to be like, yeah, that would have been so Vikings to be up by 13 points. And again, your offense hasn't done anything in the second half. Only your defense has, just to lose that game. That would have been so Vikings. Like, I'm not even kidding with you. Getting positive. Come on, Mateo. We can get a haul for 100. Well, I'll say yesterday's performance did absolutely raise his trade value. So, you know, he does have a no trade clause, but I think he's far more willing to waive it to get moved. I'll just go up to him and say, hey, we want to move. We want you to have a chance to win a Super Bowl, and you're not getting that here. So we're going to look into trying to trade you. Do you got a no trade clause? Is there any particular team that you absolutely want us or don't want us to call? But yeah, I'd go up to Daniil and be like, hey, dude, Actually, here's what I'd say to Daniil. I'd give him one more chance to sign a long-term contract, and if he doesn't, then just say, hey, we're going to try and find some trade partners for you. But yes, we should be able to get something good. Second round pick, maybe even the first. Vikings are crappy enough. They should flex the schedule playing all Thursdays. Shout out Mary in the building. What's going on, Mary? Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Everybody shout out Mary in the chat. Say hello to the matriarch of this Viking circle. Sunday was a painful day. Yes. A Bears fan I talked to today said nothing like watching two bad teams play. Cannot disagree with a single sentiment there. Cannot disagree. Hunter's the one guy on defense who I trust. Sucks we can't pay him. Yeah, I totally agree. Frank Reich is handing over play calling duties to his offensive coordinator. What a concept. I'm going to get there. Judd Zalgad described Byron Murphy interception, a ball that was a third grade play. Yes. I mean, the announcer said, hey, it's a wounded duck. It was so horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I wish Hunter would just make it easy on number. Well, that too. Yes. I would definitely agree. My guy, Mike, I wanted Kendricks gone more. Okay, Mike. All right. Well, most of us didn't, but that's fine. Hicks and Bynums are playing elite right now. That part I agree with. Frozen says I wanted Kendricks more, but I agree with this one. Wish we'd paid Hunter what he deserved instead of giving it to Kirk year after year. Well, yes, there is that. I can't disagree with you. Shout out Chad in the building. Bruh, Dak is whack. Oh, what happened? Oh, it's 10-7 at halftime. Well, yeah. What's funny is my optimistic side predicted that both the Vikings and the Dallas Cowboys would get past their divisional round hiccups. Yeah, I was wrong about that. Just wrong about that one. As Joe Buck said, that game was a disgusting. You ain't lying, Ryan. You ain't lying. You are not lying. Shout out to Evil in the building. What's going on? Oh, and shout out to Too Evil for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Too Evil. As always, we got to get some noise in here for that. Let's give you this one. Get you, Too Evil. As always, so much. All right, let's get back to the issues at hand. I'm going to flip this around real quick. Let's get that comment out the way. Offensive offense. Kevin O'Connell was brought in here as the antithesis to the defensive coach that was Mike Zimmer. The antithesis to the tyrant Mike Zimmer. And now he's going to be the players' coach and he's going to empower everybody. This offense is pitiful. Pitiful. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. There's no two ways around it. I'm sorry if that upsets people. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear how pathetic this offense is. It's just terrible. There's no two ways around it. Tell me what other superlative or description I should use. Let's start out with our running game. Alexander Madison, love you, bruh. I said I think he can fill the number one running back shoes. And again, this is no disrespect to him as a person. As we have said on multiple channels here, we got to meet Alexander Madison's father. We've had him on our shows a couple of times. We got to meet him at SKOL Fest. So this is nothing personal. This is just, I'm a content creator and I got to give my opinion. Alexander, we tried to make you the number one running back, and it's just not working, dude. It's just not working. There's no other two ways to say it. Let Cam Cook, get Cam Akers the starting job. Put Alexander Madison back to the backup role that he is used to, where you got a little thunder and lightning. I know that's cliche to say, but let Cam Akers start. Give him the bulk of the carries, and then bring Addison in as the change of pace back because he can't handle the running back one. He just can't. We've got enough evidence after 6 games that even again, yeah, he had some nice runs yesterday here or there, but he's not good in his blocking assignments. He's missed a couple. He keeps dropping passes because he's running without the ball. And then all of a sudden, oh, crap. Last week had a touchdown or at least a 1st and goal at the 5. I'll remind people that had Alexander Madison scored a touchdown on that, Patrick Mahomes would have still had 3 minutes. So everybody wants to say, oh, we would have won that game if Alexander Madison hadn't dropped the ball. Stop the cap. Now, here's the deal. I didn't even bother putting one of these together for our quarterback, Kirk Cousins. So I'm just going to go back to offensive offense, and I'm just going to leave Kevin O'Connell up there for a minute. Kirk Cousins, is it all his fault? No. Because God dang it, we've always got to preference everything we say about Kirk Cousins with it's not all his fault. But we are at the end of the road. Although we've come to the end of the road. Oh my gosh, I can let go of Kirk Cousins at this point. And, Dave from First and SKOL said, hey, studies have statistically shown that when a quarterback hits the age of 35, they start to fall off the cliff. And he's just falling off the cliff. Or something's not clicking. I don't know what it is. He doesn't have as much zip on the ball. He's a little late on balls. And at the end of the day, you scored a touchdown to Jordan Addison, missed the extra point. Extra point was blocked. That's not his fault. Okay. You go into half, and what do we always say? You want to have the last possession of the first half and the first possession of the second half so you can double dip, right? Okay. So we get the ball coming out out of the half, and we go 3 and out. It was a pitiful drive. So you give up your advantage. Let's go through the Vikings second half possessions. I already said it 3 times. They scored 0 points in the second half offensively. 0. You had 6 possessions. One of them was a 6-play drive that ultimately ended in a missed field goal, although I disagree with Kevin O'Connell for even sending Greg Joseph out there. You got a terrible quarterback. Just pin him deep. Don't go for a 58 yards? Okay. But the other 5 possessions, one was the last possession after the Byron Murphy interception where you're just trying to run out the clock, and they did. The other 4 possessions were all 3 and outs. 3 and out. 3 and out. 3 and out. 3 and out. Seriously, against the Chicago Bears god-awful defense. How is that possible? All I heard this offseason was, this is going to be great for Kirk finally having the same coordinator or the same play caller for the second year in a row for the first time in his career. That's the bullshit that was shoved down our throats by the Kirk stands and the optimists. Okay, fine. I'll listen to that. Kevin O'Connell, he empowers Kirk to make decisions at the line of scrimmage. You mean like spiking the ball after converting a 4th down because you can't hear because the crowd is cheering for you? Yes, you converted a 4th down to extend the game, and you expect the crowd to instantaneously be quiet? I mean, come on. You've been in this league for over a decade, and okay. And you want to know what's funny about Kirk? All offseason, I heard, well, if we get Kirk a decent offensive line, and if we get Kirk just even an average defense, he could lead us to a Super Bowl. And we've never had that combination. Well, last I checked, the defense was 15th. That's average out of 32 teams. 15, 16, 17. That's your average. Okay. Our offensive line has actually been playing pretty good. Yes, there are occasions where 1 or 2 plays get blown up. That happens. And it doesn't just exclusively happen to Kirk. Oh, well, Kirk's had a lot of drops. Every quarterback has once in a while gets a drop pass. Has Kirk had an unusually high number? I wouldn't say that. It's higher than we want it to be. And again, TJ Hawkinson as a prime example that we talked about a moment ago. Yeah, TJ needs to figure out what's wrong with himself right now because he's dropping way too many passes. And yes, Alexander Madison dropping some passes. And yeah, okay, there's drop passes. You're an NFL quarterback for over a decade. You can't just say, oh, well, my receivers are dropping passes left and right. There were many clean pockets yesterday for Kirk Cousins to do something with, and he didn't do anything with them. I'm sorry. It's one excuse after another. So when it's pointed out to Kirk stands, oh, well, looks like he's got a pretty good offensive line and he's got an average defense. Well, yeah, but, we're turning the ball over so much. One excuse after another. Aren't you sick and tired of making excuses? Because I'm sick and damn tired of hearing them. Okay? I'm not trying to be ultra negative. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm just keeping it real. At this point, move on. I've said it before. I'll say it again. There was a report that Kirk Cousins said he would not waive his no trade clause. And when he was asked that by Kevin Seifert from ESPN, he dodged the question. Was he dodging the question because he already knows the Vikings are trying something and he doesn't want to torpedo his trade value or, torpedo wherever he might want to go? Maybe. Is he serious about it? Probably. I'll say it again. Kirk Cousins, you have every right to exercise your no trade clause. You negotiated it as part of your contract. I do not begrudge you that. I think, at this point, you should want to get out of here with where this team is at. But that's the problem with Kirk. He's comfortable. He's just this comfortable. It's kind of like this sweatshirt I'm wearing right now. This is a nice, comfortable sweatshirt that I can wear in the fall and even in the wintertime, and it's nice and comfy. Kirk just likes being comfy. That's why the Wills love him so much. But anyway, Kirk, you said, no, I don't want to be traded. I don't want to be traded. I'm comfortable right here where I'm at. Okay, you know what I do? I said it before. I'll say it again. I go up to Kirk. I'd be like, hey, we're not re-signing you at the end of the year. I know you don't want to go anywhere because you don't want to uproot your family, and I can respect that. But if you don't give us a list of teams we can trade you to, you're going to be the most expensive backup quarterback because we benching your ass and we putting Jaron Hall in. If you lose to San Francisco, that should be Katie bar the door. That should be trade Danielle Hunter, trade Harrison Smith if you can get something for him, KJ Osborne. And they're going to say, well, with Justin Jefferson gone, if we trade KJ Osborne, we don't have any wide receivers. Who cares? KJ Osborne's going to be gone next year. You don't let the fact that Justin Jefferson is injured dissuade you from getting a return on an asset that's about to expire. So you know what? I don't care that JJ's hurt. You got other wide receivers. Put the Jackson boys in there. I don't give a damn. But I would go to Kirk and be like, hey, we're trading off Danielle Hunter. We're trading off Harrison Smith. We're going to trade off KJ. You really want to stick around? Yes, I do. I'm exercising my right of my no trade clause. All right. Sit your ass down on the bench. Sit your ass down. Collect your money. But guess what? You're not going to have any film to show your potential. You're not going to be able to put any more. Let me try that again. You're not going to be able to put on tape something for your pending free agency that you can go to other teams and get your 3-year bag because you want one more contract and you ain't getting it from us. And if this team re-signs Kirk Cousins, I will flip a gasket. I will flip a gasket because you ain't going anywhere with this guy. Part of it is him. Part of him is his timidness. Kirk Cousins, this goes all the way back to Michigan State. When he's down 14 points, he's really, really good. When he's tied, he's pretty good. When he's up by 14, he's horrible. Why is that? Because he's afraid of making a mistake. He's more concerned about not making mistakes than he is about making a good play. That's reality. Again, I'm not saying that makes him a bad person. I'm not saying anything else other than the fact that we never blow teams out. And when we're up, he plays scared. How many checkdowns did we have yesterday? How many? And there were times where receivers were open. This notion that, the offensive line didn't give him a whole lot of time. Bullshit. They had plenty of plays where they got clean pockets. And what the hell is this backward pass because you were about to get sacked? I thought you got that shit out of your system a few years ago in Seattle where you threw it behind Latavius Murray behind the line of scrimmage. We got so lucky that Chicago Bear player didn't quite get control of that fumble. Kirk, you have been in this league for over a decade. I get it. If you were looking straight down and you saw somebody and you flipped it out, it's kind of like that Kansas City one where it ultimately came back because of holding, where he literally took his hands and just pushed the ball ahead. That was a great play. But I'm just like, you just going to willy-nilly throw it behind your head to not take a sack. What the hell are you thinking, dude? What the hell are you thinking? Well, I know what you're thinking. You're just a guy who works here. You're just running out your contract. You know damn well the Vikings are not going to give you a new contract. They would have given it to you already. The Vikings offered him a 1-year contract. He said, no, I want 3. So he knows the Vikings are not going to give him a 3-year deal. And the Vikings know Kirk is not going to give him a discount. They're just running this out. They're like a couple who is about to get divorced, but they're living in the same house while they're separated. They're a separated couple, but they're just living under the same house. I might know a little something about that, but I digress. The point I'm making is simply this. Go to Kirk, tell him you're going to get benched. We want to see what we got with Jaron Hall. Some would say that's distasteful. I don't. I would say that's a good business decision. You want to find out what Jaren Hall got. Because if he's got something, then you don't have to draft a quarterback in the first round. And if he's got nothing, then you know. We don't know anything about Jaren Hall. With all due respect to my guy, Mike Castellino, who says he's already done with Jaren Hall. He was a 5th-round pick. He didn't show me anything, whatever. Dude, come on. Come on. I'd bench him, or I'd threaten to bench him. I'd be like, hey, you want to just sit here and do nothing? Is that what you want? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to put Jaren Hall in there. You're going to sit on the bench. So give me a list of teams that you'll be able to waive your no trade clause to, get your agent on the phone with those teams to try to get you an extension, because I know you want your extension before you waive your no trade clause. And again, let me be clear. I understand that, and I don't blame him for that. Not at all. But no, I am not going to be beholden to this guy. I am not going to let him paralyze this franchise for the next 11 games. Nah, I'm sorry. You want to exercise your rights? Fine. We're going to exercise our rights. That's what I would do. But I digress. Let's get back to the chats. Oh, boy, you guys got a lot of them in here. I thought maybe after talking about the offense and talking about Kirk Cousins, that maybe, just maybe, y'all might have something to say. All right, so hello, some hellos here. Offense is looking like the Jurassic size pile of crap. Scold your soup, you in the running. You in the running for line of the night. KOC is Matt Nagy 2.0 or Vanilla Ice, one-hit wonder. You know, I have listened to T-Bass for the last couple of weeks, and I'm starting to come around to it. There is one possibility, and this is kind of one of those conspiracy theories, but the conspiracy theory out there is that Kevin O'Connell is just waiting to run this out too, that he wants to be done with Kirk. And so he's putting Kirk in a position to sink or swim. And as I said, the play calling hasn't been as bad as I thought I have. I watched a little bit of film. There were guys open and there were clean pockets, and Kirk didn't pull the trigger. So while I'm not totally impressed as I was last year with Kevin O'Connell, and while I'm starting to come around to the idea that maybe this guy just is what he is and that we got lucky last year, I'm just holding out that small amount of hope that if we get a different quarterback, a young quarterback in here, that Kevin O'Connell can mold him. You know, am I biased because that's desperately what I want? Well, yes. But having said that, I'm starting to come around to you thinking, T-Bass. I really am. And I didn't think I'd say that after a year and a half. But I'm still willing to give O'Connell a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. SKOL Mafia, Madison's a running back too. No, again, I totally agree. Maybe we are trying to tank. That's why we still got Madison out there. You know what, Polish man? He might be right. That gets back to what I was just saying. Maybe Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi got a little pack saying, all right, we gotta find a way to convince the Wilfs to let us sell off these pieces so that we can get draft capital and start the rebuilding process a little easier. Maybe Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell are playing 3D chess with us. Who the heck knows? Akers need to be one. Yeah, I totally agree. Scotia Soup, I totally agree. Town Sony says the same thing. Who's the leader of this team? We don't have any leaders. We got Justin Jefferson, but he's a silent leader. We got Daniil Hunter and Harrison Smith, but they're silent leaders. This is something Rapp and I talked about last night. Who's the alpha on this team? Who is the alpha dog? We haven't had an alpha dog on defense. Well, Zadarius Smith a little bit, but he was a one-year wonder, a mercenary. But we haven't had an alpha on defense since Everson Griffin was our star on defense. He would go out there and he would pump up the team. He'd be like, no, let's go. Who does that right now? Nobody. And who does that on offense? Nobody. Certainly ain't Kirk. And like I said, Justin Jefferson, that's not his thing. He leads by example. Well, the examples he set, nobody else can do because they ain't him. Did Toby ever catch a pass? Well, one or two. You are correct. Are you thinking the middle of September for SKOL? Again, yes. The reason I asked, brother, it's going to be SKOLFest 2.0 will be the weekend of the home opener, whenever that is. And that can only be weeks 1, 2, or 3. The NFL has a rule where a team cannot be on the road for the first 3 games. So what I know right now, it will either be week 1, 2, or 3, whichever the home opener is. So I know that doesn't really help you with your planning right now, but as soon as the schedule gets announced, that will make it official. That'll make it official. 61 yard in the way they say, yeah. Oh, it was 61. Boy, I was waiting for Sarah. Kirk is a bum. Yeah. Well, don't get Sarah started on Kirk. No, I can't stop Sarah one way or the other. And there's no way I would try to stop Sarah. Ain't no way I'm trying to stop her. Let her go. Let her go on whatever she wants to say. This is the same quarterback who's had a league in 3-and-outs. Yeah, I've been saying that. And the Kirk stands don't want to hear it. Oh, well, it was the coordinator in Washington. And then it was Mike Zimmer. And okay, now what? You told me you wanted a coach in Kevin O'Connell. I'm going to start calling him that. I love that. Jade said that. Jade, Kevin O'Connell, because he's got to coddle Kirk. That's the problem with Kirk. He can be so good at times, and it's just a tease. It's just fool's gold. But then he goes 3-and-out. Oh, well, Kirk was checked down. King. Yes, I agree. Again, the offense scored 12 points, 2 field goals and a touchdown with a blocked extra point. 2 field goals and a touchdown, all in the first half. They didn't do anything in the second half. They didn't do anything. Nothing. Where did we see the aggressive? Where did we see any? We didn't, Mary. You had me fooled for a second. No. I will say this, though, Mary. There were some plays, and Kirk checked them down, like, real quick. There were some plays where he had Addison open and what it has and have 3 catches. Yeah. Okay. So, again, it's which one is it? Is it the coach? Is it the players not executing? Or is it a combination thereof? I don't know. All I do know is that there were plays to be had. That doesn't let O'Connell off the hook, and it doesn't let Kirk off the hook either. So I don't know. Appreciate you, Mafia. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah. Kirk is content with mediocre. Yes, he absolutely is. He's cashing his paychecks. He don't care. What would you say you do here? That line from Office Space. I show up to work. That line when he's meeting the Bobs. Here's the problem. It's that I just don't care. You don't care? Well, if I work my ass off and the company ships out a few extra units, I don't see a dime. It's a problem of motivation. And here's the other thing, Bob. I got 8 different bosses. So that's my only motivation, is to not get bothered by all these bosses. But that'll only motivate somebody to work just hard enough not to get fired. That's Kirk Cousins. I just work here. And yeah, in the Kirk stands, we'll talk to you about that Netflix documentary. You do realize that all 3 of those quarterbacks had production control, and they only let you see the parts that they wanted to. You think that there weren't other parts to that season that were putting Kirk in a negative light, that Kirk said, no, we ain't showing you guys that part. He's just content. I totally agree. I don't think Kirk would be mind benched on. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, G-Mac. Pressure would be off. He wouldn't get hurt. The only thing that would dissuade him would be he's going into his free agency year, and he got benched for a rookie. It's just like Derek Carr got benched with the Raiders last year. Did Derek Carr end up okay? Yeah, he got a bag from New Orleans. So you're right. I'm just saying that's the only card the Vikings have left to play, is to threaten him. But that's why Kirk likes close. It's close and comfortable. Yes, you are correct. Shout out to Evil. Cousins isn't just content with mediocrity. He demands it. Yeah, well, like Jalgad has said, he won the Super Bowl in his negotiations. You are 100%. Judd is 100% correct. No question about it. If we re-sign Kirk, I think there's a lot of fans that are going to blow gas. No, I totally agree. There will be anarchy. There will be protests. Cousins is in a contract year, and he holds all the. Well, that's true. Worthless to an extent. Like I said, that's your only way out, is to threaten him, to say, "Hey, you're going to sit." Cousins is Kool-Aid without sugar, glorified water, or he's 17 grams, which is just useless. That's the new line of the night. I heard this perfect description of Kirk. I can't remember what show it was on, so I can't take credit for this. But the guy was like, Kirk Cousins is an overcooked piece of chicken with no spice on it. Tough as nails, but ultimately bland as hell. Brilliant. A overcooked, unseasoned piece of chicken. Tough. And on one hand, an overcooked piece of unseasoned chicken is still better than some other options out there, just like Kirk. He's better than the other options you had out there. I mean, what a perfect description of that guy. Like I said, if we had Moss on the other side, JJ on the other, Carter in the slot, Kirk would still check. You ain't lying. Justin, you're going to summon a wild Oh, my gosh. Tomorrow night, hey, when you're done, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. But if you could go, the show for tomorrow is already on the page. So if you could just go into the show and hit the like button, maybe leave a comment or something. But yeah, tomorrow night's going to be off the chain. It's going to be off the chain. And again, I'm taking no prisoners tomorrow. I don't care. And Mello's going to be there. And funny, Dave brings Mello on when he knows that I'm coming after him. Ain't that funny? But, you know, Dave's always the guy who puts this stuff together. So, and again, let me be clear. I love Dave. You know, we're the cousins and we fight, but we're family. We still love each other. It's fine. We just don't agree on Kirk. But that's fine. I don't mind going up against both of them. I do not care. I'm just going to talk my talk. But you're right, Too Evil. It's going to be a gong show tomorrow. That's for dang sure. What's up, Polish? Good to see you again. Gary says I'm over him. Yeah, I totally agree. Cousins played like a rookie. Yeah. No discuss from Cousin after game saying we'll start. That's the thing. Should have come out to say, you know what? I played bad today. He's like a politician. I totally agree. Mary, if you didn't see my video of the pre-game preach, my preview of the Kansas City game, because, you know, whether Taylor was going to come or not, you should watch that one. It's on the front page because I might have referenced a song or two of hers throughout the episode, but specifically the fact that he never will say I did something bad, which is a Swift song. And I couldn't hear my coach, so don't blame me. This is another one. That's who he is. He doesn't care. People want to say, of course he cares. No, he doesn't. I don't care that he, you know, does all of this regimen to get his body. Okay, yes, he cares about his physical health and he cares about being programmed like a robot. But, and he comes out there, oh, yeah, Jesus, and Jordan did this and the other Jordan did this and he scored 0 points in the second half, Kirk, and you the quarterback. You should be pissed off. Do you know how pissed off Tom Brady would be? Do you know how pissed off Drew Brees would be? Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. I get it. Those four are all Hall of Famers. But Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, name any goddamn quarterback. We scored 0 points in the second half against the worst defense in the league. They'd be pissed as hell. Actually, they would have never let it happen. They would have never let it happen. They would have been like, hey, after 2 3 and outs, we were like, no, guys, fuck all this. Forget all of this. We finna go score a touchdown right to hell now. Kirk, oh, well, I just ran the plays that Kevin put out there for me. We had an incomplete pass on first down, and he always calls a run on second down. Well, then audible out of the stupid play. Mister, you have control over stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I have control over it. I never exercise it. But you're right, Mary. He's a damn politician. Do you think the Vikings have the balls to bench? No, probably not. I don't think the Wilfs would allow it. I'm just saying that if I'm Kwesi, that's the threat I make. I would say Kevin. I would have Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Dofa-Mensah in the room, and I'd bring Kirk in, and I'd call Kirk's agent on the phone and do a little conference call or a Zoom meeting, whatever the hell it takes. Be like, hey, you ain't getting re-signed. We're playing Jaron Hall, so give us a list of teams. Now, with the owners, if it came to that, here's what would happen. Kirk and his agent would then go to the Wilfs and be like, do you know what your general manager and head coach just said to my client? So the key about this is it's not O'Connell and it's not Kwesi. It's the Wilfs. I'm just going to leave it at that because I got one more theme before I get up out of here, and I'm going to save it for that. He may be a clown, but Kyle Sloter was right about Kirk, as was Mike Zimmer, as was Everson Griffin. Kirk Cousins' ass. Yeah, well. I don't think so, but I'd at least like them to try. And KLC telling the team how proud he was. Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, again, that's Kevin. He's always gonna pat his team on the head like they're fifth graders. Oh my gosh! Every time he check, yeah. There's that. We could have had. Well, no, I don't know if I want to go that far. Vanilla Ice had to. Okay. Respond is so yeah, he is passive. He takes no initiative. That's totally it. That is totally it. That's just what it is. And again, I'm not ragging on him for the fun of it. It's because I know he can do better, but he chooses not to. He's a robot. He'll study the playbook and he'll know these are the blocking schemes and these are the routes, and he just assumes everything's going to go right. He does not know how to adjust if the play doesn't go exactly how it's supposed to. Hicks needs to step up and claim it. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Worthless. Absolutely. Soup and I had to watch the game this year one by one. Text me later. Mafia says, I believe Jaron Hall will look better in this. Of course he would, because he could move around and he can improvise. He's not going to look as good throwing darts as Kirk. But again, Kirk's starting to slip, so the defense might not be all that. Tony, yeah, here's the thing about Ivan Pace. He's a rookie. So he's just kind of sitting there looking to be mentored. And if he comes out and tries to be the leader, some people might be like, what's this rookie trying to talk about? How's this rookie trying to talk to me like that? So, but I get your point. Ivan Pace, I think, will eventually become that. Absolutely. I'm afraid Hall looked just good enough. Well, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a very good point. The score is still 10-7. Really? Well, okay. All right, I'm going to try to get through these chats real quick and then get to my last theme. That can be a slogan. Kirk Cousins not as bad as some of the other. Dave was one of those people who will be talking about Kirk Cousins years after we move on. Some quarterback had a bad game. Cousins would have done better. Yeah. It's kind of like, listen, I love Teddy Bridgewater. I love the idea of what he could have became had he not got injured. Do I think he would have been as good as Kirk? No, but I also think that he was a better fit for the defensive schemes that Zimmer was running and the roster construction that I think he was ascending. Now, how high he would have got, I don't know. But it's kind of like some people still talk about Teddy. It's like, move on from Teddy. I love Teddy. Don't. Can I come on tomorrow? I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. I am totally okay with it. And if it takes that, yeah. Yes. Shout out to Angel in the building. Uncle Dave, thanks for having us on. Absolutely. That's the thing about it. And I've said this before. I absolutely love doing these shows because you guys interact so much. And I know the other content, the Rap, Dave, GG, SK, they all feel the same way. So thank you guys. Dave wants another $45 million. Yeah. I'm sorry, bros, that I can't read your comment because I'm just laughing so much. That's why I'll leave it up there for a minute. Kirk Audible's down. Yes, you are correct. You could buy on it. Well, yeah, there's that too. And what's funny is if you give him $45 million, his cap hit would be $55 million, as I've said. I stay. All right. Cousins never took charge of that game yesterday. Yeah. And what do we pay him? Well, we only pay him $20 million. He's only got a $20 million cap hit, even though we pushed out $28 million onto next year's. Well, that doesn't matter because he's only getting $20 million this year. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm finally caught up here. When he gets thank you, Scolger Soup. I appreciate you. I really do. All right, last one for tonight. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. I've referenced him a few times. Before you did, and now you don't. What am I referring to? I'm referring to the possibility of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah trading people who are on the last year of their contract and who will most likely not be here next year. Let's go through that list one more time. Danielle Hunter, he's the obvious one. Most likely Harrison Smith fits that category too, but definitely KJ Osborne, definitely Jordan Hicks, and definitely Ezra Cleveland. Now, Ezra Cleveland, don't know the extent of the injury he suffered yesterday. And by the way, good to see Dalton Reisner finally, but I digress. The point I'm making is this. People's like, you can't trade. What does that say? That says you're giving up on the season. Yeah, probably. So what? You're giving up on another mediocre season at best. Yes. Could this team fuck around and could this team mess around and get 7 wins? Probably. Let's say you beat Green Bay twice, you beat Chicago again, And let's just say you beat Atlanta, and let's say you beat Denver. Well, that's 7 wins right there. Who cares? And if you end up 8 and you're 1 game out of the wild card spot, oh, well, we tried. We were close. I don't care about trying. I don't care about being close. As Master Yoda would say, do or do not, there is no try. I don't care about trying to be mediocre. That's the thing. Oh, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me wanting my team to win? What's wrong with that? Nothing. If you want the short-term high of being a mediocre team as opposed to being a bad team versus the long term, which is no guarantee that you're going to be better, but it gets you out of mediocrity. Being mediocre is the worst place. I've said this a million GD times. Being in the middle is worse than being bad, because being bad gives you a better opportunity to become good. You stuck in the middle, you always stuck in the middle. You ain't getting out of the middle. You're not. So what do I mean by before you did and now you don't? Here's what I'm going to say. To all the Kirk stands and all of the Vikings fans that say, no, we're not giving up on this season. We got to keep trying and we got to push forward. We're coming up on the easy part of our schedule. As I've said about a half dozen times, everybody else is saying they're coming up on the easy part of their schedule because they had the Vikings on it, who have only beat 2 teams who are 1-11. We already talked about that. Anyway, let Kwesi make these trades. And by the way, to all of those people that think you shouldn't be trading off Danielle Hunter and all the other people I've mentioned, you're the same group of people that got pissed off that Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah didn't get anything for Dalvin Cook and didn't get anything for Adam Thielen and didn't get anything for Eric Kendricks. Cook in particular. Supposedly there was an offer on the table from Miami. We don't know if that's true or not, because I heard it was like a 3rd-round pick. Kwesi would have been an idiot not to take that. I don't think it was a 3rd-round pick on the table. I think it was a 5th-round pick, plus Miami wanted us to carry some of Dalvin Cook's salary. That's why he didn't do it. But my point is this. If you're going to rip Kwesi for not getting something for Dalvin Cook and not getting something for Thielen and Kendricks, how in the hell are you going to be pissed off if he trades some players who are not going to be on this team next year? As I've said a million times, it's like running a business. You have assets and liabilities. Your assets depreciate, and at some point your asset runs out of a useful life, and you can either run it into the ground and then just scrap it and get nothing in return, or you can sell off that asset while it still has some value. It's as simple as that. And you're going to yell at Kwesi for not getting anything for Dalvin Cook, but then get pissed off if he tries to get something for these other players. Explain to me. And we all know the real answer to that. It's, well, we can't trade Kirk. It's all about Kirk. We all know that. But nevertheless, if you're going to be mad at Kwesi for not getting something for these players in the offseason, don't be mad at Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah if he trades off some players. That's all I got on that subject for now anyway. But we'll see, because we're coming up on it. Halloween night. That's the trade deadline, or Halloween at 4 p.m. Central Time, I think. And that's just 2 weeks away. So you're going to get the San Francisco game 1 week from tonight. And then you're going to have a 6-day turnaround against Green Bay. And studies have statistically shown that the week after playing San Francisco, a lot of times the team loses because they've just gotten done getting beat up by San Francisco's offensive and defensive lines that are extremely physical. So let's say you lose both games and you're 2-6 and you got 2 days to make trades. If you lose to San Francisco, if I'm Kwesi, I start making calls before the Green Bay game. Why would you let assets walk out the door for nothing? Why? Makes no sense to me. All right, let's wrap up these chats. Gonna make some nice notes tonight for tomorrow. You damn Skippy, Sarah. Yeah, if he wants to bring on Mello, I'll bring on you, Sarah. It'll be 2-on-2. We tag team these dudes. Tag team them. Let's go. What's Gary got? I've trained my grandkids. That's the line of the night, Gary. You've taken over the lead. Sarah's going to be good. Yeah, you and Justin. Oh, absolutely. Oh, gosh, it's going to be fun. Even if Sarah doesn't come on, I have no issue with it. I'll talk today, be like, hey, Sarah wants to come on. Oh, You gonna have Mello on? Yeah, I'll have Sarah on. You definitely scold your soup. You damn Skippy. Gonna get your popcorn ready. As Terrell Owens said, get your popcorn ready. Absolutely. All those star quarterbacks in the league now were grabbed by teams that were bad enough to get high pick. Yes, for the most part. Yes. And again, here's what I can't stand. Oh, well, we shouldn't lose as much to get higher draft picks because nothing's guaranteed. Well, yeah, obviously, and water's wet. Oh, but we should just play the season out and we could just trade up and get the guy we want. Did you ever consider the possibility and the likelihood that maybe you don't find a team to trade up with because teams don't want to trade down because they want to pick some guy? You have to find a willing trade partner. And then if you do find a partner that's willing to trade, they know you're desperate. So they're going to try to rip you off. Let's say you wanted to trade up to the number 5 pick and you had the 17th pick. Okay, so we'll give you the 17th pick and we'll give you a first round next year and a third round the year after that. I don't want to give up extra draft picks to move up. I want to keep those draft picks and use them to bolster this roster. So yes, I'd rather just fall into the 5th pick as opposed to 15 to 19 because I don't want to trade up. That requires you giving up more assets that could be used to get players. So I don't want to hear about this. Well, we could just trade up. I'm sorry. That's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. We'll just trade up. We tried to trade up this year, but the teams at the top wanted too much. We tried to trade up. They said it was Bryce Young, and fine if it was, or if it either one. I said I'll take any one of those 3. I wanted Anthony Richardson, and I don't care that he's hurt right now because he wouldn't have been playing this year because he would have been sitting behind Kirk, other than maybe some goal line carries. But my point is this ridiculous notion of, oh, we should just play it out and let the chips fall where we may because we can just trade up. And what if it costs you 3 first-round picks to trade up as opposed to just landing naturally with a natural teardown? You know what? If you got rid of Hunter and you got rid of Harrison Smith and you got rid of KJ Osborne, you're just gonna naturally not win as many games. And again, let me be clear for everybody in the back and the front and anywhere in between. I'm not cheering for losses. I don't want to have a god-awful season. That's not what I want. But if it's gonna happen anyway, then embrace it. I'd rather be biblically bad for 1 year as opposed to being kind of bad for 2 or 3 years. I don't understand why people would want to go 2 or 3 years being bad if you could get all of your bad out in 1 year. Yeah, we've already endured a terrible 2-4 start. We've already endured a bad season, and the outlook doesn't look good. I don't care what anybody else said. Oh, well, at 2-5, we got the 2-5 is like 2-4 because we got the 17th game now. Okay. And what does that get you? Mediocrity. How many times I got to say, dare to be great, not dare to be mediocre. So again, I don't want them to lose, but I'm willing to accept it. I'm willing to accept short-term pain for a long-term gain. And that long-term gain might not be realized immediately. It might take a year or 2 to realize that long-term gain. I agree with you. It's not going to get turned around in 1 year, but it sure ain't going to get turned around in 1 or 2 years if you're constantly picking from 15 to 20 because, well, we just got to keep fighting. And until we're eliminated from playoff contention, we keep fighting. Okay. So if you're eliminated with 3 games left, you're willing to say, okay, we can lose these last 3 games for draft pick. If we already know we're not going to the playoffs, and if we somehow squeaked in, we wouldn't be doing any damage in the playoffs, then tell me the difference between losing the last 3 games and losing the last 7 games. The only difference is you got a higher pick. You got a better chance of getting better. And that doesn't mean that I like the idea of losing. I hate it. Ask anybody in my life, what is Justin like when he plays a game of chess or plays a card game? Oh, Justin gets way to hell too competitive. We're playing a game of hearts and he's getting pissed off that he's losing. Oh, we're playing a game of Monopoly, and if Justin's winning, he can, well, you know, he doesn't like be boisterous about it. He just kind of sits there and smiles. But if he's losing, don't be around him when he's losing. I hate losing. That's the thing that Michael Jordan once said when somebody asked him, hey, what makes you, what you are? And he says, I think I hate losing more than I love winning. Okay. If anybody here, there, or anywhere thinks that I like the prospect of losing, you're crazy. What I am saying is, if it's inevitable, then be biblically bad. There's no point in being a 6 or 7 win team. No point. Yeah. For the ultra positive, aka Kirk stands out there that think we can turn this thing around and win 10, 11 games. There's still some people think we can win double digit. I'll bet any amount of money we don't win double digit games. It doesn't take that much to understand you ain't winning double digit games. And if we did, okay, great. I'll come on this mic and say I was dead wrong the first 7 weeks of the season after we start 2-5. Okay, we start 2-5. In order to get to double digit wins, we'd have to go, what would that be? 8-4? No, 8-2. 8-2. Oh, we got Green Bay twice, and we got the Bears, and we got the Broncos, and we got the Raiders, and we got the Falcons. And then we got a 50-50 game against the Saints, but that'll be at home. Oh, wait. After next week, we're going to be 0-4 in our home games. And you want to try and say, oh, we got New Orleans at home. Anyway, okay, yeah, you could luck your way. You can find your way into 7 wins. Okay, that's nice. That's real nice. Hit the reset button. If you didn't hit the like button, hit the like button, please. If you could, please. The way they played yesterday, I'm not sure we can beat any of the teams. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mary. You act like because we beat the god-awful Bears that we can go on a run. I'll say again, 1-11. 1-11 is the records of the teams we've beaten. And we barely squeaked by beating those 2 teams. Barely. Here's the funny part of this. This is supposed to be an offensive team, and the only games we won is when our defense scored a touchdown. Honestly. I'm just saying. Oh, well, Tampa Bay, we had 3 turnovers, and we cleaned that up. We ain't cleaned up squat from the turnover standpoint. Everybody keeps saying we just need to cut out the turnover. It's been 6 games. That just is what it is. And even if you didn't have another turnover for the rest of the season, which we all know is an unattainable goal, it doesn't matter. You can't take them back. You can't take the Tampa Bay game back. You can't take the Chargers game back. Oh, well, without those turnovers, we would have beat Philadelphia. Bullshit. Philadelphia would have tried at the end of the game. If we had somehow gotten it tied, they would have been like, okay, we're not just going to try to run the clock out. And how many yards did that team run up on us again? And you think because of the turnovers is why we lost? No. Carolina's garbage. You beat them by 8. You beat the Carolina Panthers by 8 points. I mean, honestly. Let me pull up Carolina's schedule so far. Okay, the Falcons scored 21 points. The Saints scored 20. The Seahawks scored 37. We've scored 21. The Lions 42, and the Dolphins 42. So other than the Saints, who beat them 20-17, everybody else who's played the Carolina Panthers has scored more than we have. Just like with the Bears, I went through that earlier. So. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying it. Hunter is a blue chip trade. Oh, absolutely he is. Shout out Bandino in the building. What's going on, Bandino? Good to see you. Thank you kindly for joining me, by the way. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit behind. I'm about 10 minutes behind on your chat, but thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Yeah, Hunter is their best trade asset. That's their best trade chip. No doubt about it. Again, you could probably get a 4th or a 5th for Harrison Smith at best. You could probably get a 5th for KJ at best, but I'd still rather have those picks that have nothing and let the guys walk out the door. You could probably get a 2nd for Danielle Hunter, maybe even a 1st. The way he played yesterday, I'll be on the phone right now. Hey, the price is a 1st-round pick. You call Jacksonville right now and say, Danielle Hunter for your 1st-round pick. Ooh, I don't know about that. Really? With Danielle Hunter? Because defensive end or outside linebacker, it's not like a quarterback going to a new system. It's, hey, start here, get to the quarterback. Danielle Hunter is a man-child. He is a freak of nature. Danielle Hunter would not need very much time. Jacksonville would be a perfect place for him because, yeah, you got Kansas City And Buffalo barely beat the Giants last night, so they're not much. Cincinnati's not much right now. Yeah, you got Kansas City and Miami, but guess what? You give Danielle Hunter, you get Jacksonville to take Danielle Hunter. Jacksonville is a force to be reckoned with. But I digress. First round pick, then something similar. Yeah, I totally agree. Postman, you think we might be bleeped if the Bears have 2 top picks? Oh, yes. Thank you. Now, here's the deal. If the Bears had both the top 2 picks and they took Caleb Williams, their second pick would be Marvin Harrison Jr. So you need to get to the 3 spot to get Drake May. But yes, either way, we need the Bears and the Panthers to win some games, if for nothing else, to not have the Bears have the top 2 picks. Oh my gosh. Now, if Caleb Williams went to Chicago would screw him up. But maybe Caleb Williams would be the quarterback that finally broke through the Chicago curse. The players we could potentially trade are convenient playing well. Yes, I totally agree. Strike while the iron's hot. I said that yesterday. Danielle Hunter's trade value just went up. Oh, Jordan Hicks' trade value just went up. Oh, Ezra Cleveland's trade value just went down. I did that 4 times yesterday. Anyway, if I knew Dalvin had the 6th most fumbles in the league for non-quarterbacks and most in the league lost turnovers and worst catch percentage of any starting quarterback and terrible yards per carry, then yeah, 31. Okay, yeah. I get you. Scolder Soup says I might have to get on there tomorrow. Be a super show, all right. Shout out to Roger. What's going on, Roger? Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, I know that was 12 minutes ago. Hope you're still here to hear your shout out, but here we go. Quasi should be making the calls and prepping the benefit. Yes, Dave, I totally agree. I've been saying that for a week. I've said, hey, because I said what I said is if you lose to Chicago, which they almost did, you absolutely start making the calls. But yes, don't wait until 2 days before the trading deadline. Start making calls now, particularly when you know you're going to lose to San Francisco, or at the very least, make them after saying thanks, John. Yeah, absolutely. We all love this team. That's why it hurts so much. Yeah, I totally agree, Mary. But thank you for the kind words as always. Appreciate you. Dead on love. Yeah. I totally agree with all y'all. I totally agree. I'll be like, okay, you got 45 seconds to remember. Justin was like explaining why we should. Yeah, okay. Now that'd be Dave. That would not be me. I'd give 3 firsts for Caleb. You know what? I would too. I'm not giving up JJ in that. People say we should trade JJ and get Caleb Williams because we'll still have Jordan Addison. No, I want to get Caleb Williams and have JJ and Jordan Addison. But would I give up 3 for Caleb? Yes. I would probably give up 2 and a second for Drake May because I think those guys are 1 and 2, and I'd take either one of them. Have a great night. Hey, thanks, Two-Tone. I know you might not be here because I'm way behind as always. Let me just scroll through these. Get some more. Biblically bad. Seriously, what else? Just crap in the bad kitchen. Yeah, exactly. Historically good or biblically bad. I don't want anything in the middle. Maybe you guys have figured out I hate being in the middle unless it's 2 hot chicks. If I had $1 million, what would I do? 2 chicks at the same time. That's like the 3rd Office Space reference. Yeah, I don't like being in the middle unless there's a honey on one side and a honey on the other side. Otherwise, the middle is garbage. Thanks to Eva. I appreciate you. I sure missed. Yes. We missed you too, Gary. Like last week, we're just like, where's Gary? I ain't seen him in this chat. We starting to get worried about you. If it had been a couple more days, we'd have sent out a search party for you. But yes, we are absolutely glad you're back. Most definitely. B Watts, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Let's go full Rams. No, absolutely not. The time to go full Rams was 2018 and 2019. They have missed their window to go full Rams. This team has too many holes in it to go full Rams. No, this team needs to go take a step back. But I appreciate the comment. Appreciate you coming by. Again, I would have been 100% on board. The Rams traded a 1st-round pick for Jalen Ramsey a couple of years before they won the Super Bowl, but they made that move to say, all right, let's just start getting rid of 1st-round picks and start collecting up good players. And I said it at the time. Could you imagine 2019? Now, Xavier Rhodes was starting to fall off, and he fell off in a big way after that. But Xavier Rhodes, Jalen Ramsey, and Trey Waynes, and Mike Zimmer coaching them. I would have given up a 1st. Now, yeah, that the next year would have been what? Justin Jefferson. No, we had 2 picks. I can't remember if Jefferson was the Buffalo pick or our own pick, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what I've done it. Yes, but no, not B-Watch. Thanks for joining. And if you don't already subscribe, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to for you to come back in sometime. I think, this is the first time. Everybody shout out B-Watch. Everybody shout out B-Watch. You're the first time in here. So not only do I shout you out when I see a chat, but if you're the first time in here, I get it. I say, everybody say hello. Everybody say hello. Yes, I know. It was what? It was 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. If I like losing, I would like the rest of Minnesota team. Spoiler, I don't. Yeah, okay. There you go. 0-5 going back to the. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Oops. I've gone back. Yeah, again. The Bears are who they thought they were, and we proved we are who we thought we are. Yes, totally. Wasn't that the last sincere thing Quasey ever did before you? Well, I don't know. Maybe. If coulda, woulda, shoulda counted, we'd be undefeated. Hey, that's another Taylor reference, but I digress. Yeah, I know. You're totally right. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, be Christmas all year round. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I want to know what the Fulmer Rams effect looked like. Well, again, they've traded a bunch, but again, if I knew, again, this where the roster is right now is not the time to do it. Where the roster was in 2018 and 19 was the time to do it. And what does the full effect look like? It looks like they got a Super Bowl, and then they were terrible last year, and they're kind of okay this year. I would take that trade. Who in the chat would not take a trade of giving up 5 first-round picks for a Super Bowl, even if they had 5 trash years after that? Absolutely. First few months, crazy. Here's the thing. I'm going to say it like this. Competitive rebuild was such a bullshit notion in the first place. You don't want to be competitive while you're rebuilding, because that just slows your rebuilding process down. That was the directive from the Wolves. Yeah, rebuild our team, but keep us competitive so we can sell out all of our games, and we can make sure that our people do not sell their tickets to the away team or just not show up. Whatever. Quasi didn't want him. Zimmer didn't want him. I think the only guy that wanted him was Rick Spielman. But hey, Caleb Williams can be the manager. Well, no, yeah, Caleb Williams would just say, "I'm going back to school." Because again, before you can declare for the draft, you'll know the draft order. And if it's Chicago, yeah, he can just say, "Hey, I'm going back to school. Eli Manning. I was just going to say that. Shout out Yogi in the building. What's going on? Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by. Just had it. What did I just have? I don't know, but I digress. You can only hope he doesn't. Eli. Yeah. Hall of Famer, not everybody wears Eli as one of the players. Basically, here's the thing about Eli. And people want to say Kirk is better than Eli. Here's the thing about Kirk and Eli. Just like Kirk and Dante Culpepper. Some of you have heard me say this one already, so I'm going to do it again. Dante Culpepper was a roller coaster. He had really high highs and really low lows. Kirk Cousins is a train that stays steady. So Dante's peak was higher and Dante's floor was lower. I say I want Dante because I'll live through the dips in order for the really high peaks. Eli Manning was a mediocre at best regular season quarterback. Kirk Cousins is a pretty good regular season quarterback. But come playoff time, Eli Manning had another switch. Now, yes, he had some decent pieces around him. He had a pretty good offensive line, and he had a great defensive line. Both times he won the Super Bowl. Granted, but so what? There have been plenty of people that have had good rosters that didn't win the Super Bowl for whatever reason. Eli took full advantage of the opportunities that were afforded to him. I'm not going to diss Eli. Do I think Eli is a Hall of Famer? No, I don't. Will Eli get into the Hall of Fame? Yeah, he won 2 Super Bowls. He's getting in, whether I think he should or not. I don't think he should. But at the end of the day, yeah, if I'm in the playoffs, I'd much rather have Eli. I mean, again, Kirk Cousins, by and large, is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco. But Joe Flacco got on that hot run and won the damn Super Bowl. 4 games where he had the best 4 games of his career. Do you ever see Kirk Cousins in a wild card round game, divisional round game, NFC championship, and a Super Bowl going on a hot streak like that? Oh, well, Kirktober, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, okay. Big deal. It's Kirktober. Whatever. I digress. Appreciate you. I appreciate you, Watts. I appreciate you. I hope I don't lose any, considering that, I kind of bashed Kirk all night, but I didn't really bash him all night, but that's that's what the Kirk stands will say. All right, Frozen. Justin, I'm not sure if you're wearing enough item to score. There's another reference to my favorite movie of all time. Back a while ago, I had somebody who was very dear to me at the time, still kind of is, but it is what it is. How can you say Office Space is your favorite movie of all time? And I say, because it applies to every person who works a job in the United States of America, one way or the other. You can be in a call center and you got your Lumberg and you got your Milton and you've got Nina. It applies to everybody. It transcends every piece of corporate America. Now, again, do I think it's the best movie of all time? No, I think for me, I'd probably go Empire Strike Back is probably what I would consider the best, but it's part of a trilogy. So can you really call something that's part of a trilogy the best movie of all time? I don't know. But my point is that, yes, Office Space, definitely my favorite. If Kirk had won us a Super Bowl, he can check down only what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. At that point, if we actually keep Cousins after the curb after the season, I'm going to roll. Yes, absolutely. Are you a Kirk fan or are you a Vikings fan? Yes, I'd rather roll the dice with Jaron Hall under center just to burn the number 8 contract. Thank you, Bandito. I appreciate you. Since Philly, when does it do that? Yes, thank you, Sarah. Here's the thing about Philly. They got 2017. First, what was it? 14 games or was it 15 games? I don't remember. Carson Wentz on his rookie contract with a great team around him because he wasn't making as much money, was on an MVP trajectory, and then he blew out his knee. We all thought, oh, we got this now. Carson Wentz is out. Nick Foles just kind of whatever. In the first game or two, the last couple of games of the regular season, Nick Foles looked terrible. He looked absolutely terrible. But they had a first round bye, and Atlanta went into Philly. And we as Vikings fans, because Atlanta had went to the Super Bowl the year before, I'll mind you, and had a 28-3 lead and then lost to the Patriots. But I digress. And we were actually thinking to ourselves, do we want Atlanta to win so that we can host the NFC Championship game if we get past the Saints? Or would we be better off going to Philadelphia? Even though it's on the road, Atlanta's probably a better team than Philadelphia. First of all, we went down to Atlanta and beat them earlier that year. But I digress again. The point is that, yes, Nick Foles looked kind of mediocre against Atlanta. Atlanta was one play away, a jump ball to Julio Jones, and that would have been brilliant after beating the Saints to have the Atlanta Falcons come to US Bank Stadium and get our revenge for 1998. Oh, gosh, it would have been glorious. Revenge is a dish best served cold, baby. We actually thought we'd be better off going to Philly. But to Sarah's point, they win the Super Bowl. They get to the divisional round of the playoffs in 2018. And guess what they did? They fell off. They took a step back. Now, granted, yeah, they got a new quarterback in Jalen Hurts because they actually decided to do something like take a quarterback in the first or second round. But yes, to Sarah's point, they tore down their roster a little bit and then built it back up and then went to the Super Bowl again. But yes, we're fighting over Kirk. So I appreciate you, Watts. I appreciate you. You know what, Watts? I'll be on tomorrow. And it's a simulcast with my friend, even though we fight like hell, Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk. And he is a Kirk stan, even though he doesn't want to admit he's a Kirk stan. And sometimes we can go at it. So, yes, I'm on by myself the Monday nights and Thursday nights. And then I do a pregame show Sunday mornings at 11. And then me and Rap do a postgame show. Although I'm not sure what I'm doing for the Monday night game. You know what? For the 22 people in the chat, for the 22 people here right now, I don't remember how to do a poll. What do you guys want me to do next Monday? Because normally I go at around 8:20, but it'll be the Vikings are playing. Now, it might not be all that bad because the Vikings might be getting blown out. Who the hell knows? But should I do a pregame show, SKOL for Days, at like 5:45 until about 6:15, and then go on over to Vikings First and SKOL, or should I do a live watch party? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I haven't decided which way I'm going to go. But Rappers is like, you know what? Since your show is normally on during the Monday Night Football game and you try to do halftime, of course, then you just keep on talking, and now it's been 90 minutes and the halftime is long over. Put it in the chat for me. Let me know what you guys think. Should I do a live watch party next Monday night? In other words, I'll start the stream probably about, I don't know, 6:45 Central Time, maybe a half an hour before the game starts, and be on for the whole game. What do you guys think? Put it in the chat. I want to know what you guys think. I'm gonna give you guys the option. No one gives blank about content. Oh yes, I know. You're so right, Sarah. In the Zone podcast in the building. What's going on, Zone? Good to see you. Good to see you. Gary, I can't stop watching. Oh yes. Oh, Green. Oh, those are two good ones too. Those are two good ones. Good. And like what? Pulp Fiction's another one. Pulp Fiction is absolutely another one. Absolutely. I mean, Quentin Tarantino. I mean, that dude puts out, anything he does turns to gold. Can absolutely call Empire the greatest despite the one before it and the cheesy Ewok dance. Well, again, I have a hard time picking something out of a trilogy because if you didn't have the first one, you wouldn't know who these characters were. So but I get your point though. I get your point. Appreciate you, Greg. Appreciate you, man. As always. Forrest Gump. You want to know what's funny about Forrest Gump, Gary? This is funny. I have never seen that movie from start to finish. I've seen the whole movie in parts, but I've never seen that movie start to finish in one setting. I've seen the whole thing. I've seen this part here, this part here, this part here. And have I seen every part of the movie? Yes, but I've never actually sat down and watched the movie by itself. Oh, yeah, I'll give you that one. Well, I got super chats open, so if you want to throw some down, you can. I appreciate you. But for the record, I think it's just Purple and Gold for Days. It's been a minute since I've used it. No, I don't want to do an update. Yeah, Purple and Gold for Days. It's the same. It's the same as my channel. So I'll take it. Good night, G-Mac. All right. So Sarah says live watch. Polish says live watch. Bandino says I have personal. Here's the thing about post game on Monday night. Number one, there's so many other ones out there. There's a reason why if it's a Sunday game that Rap and I go at 8:00 because there's so many other ones. And if it's going to be starting at 10:30, I'm not going to do it. But that's 3 watch parties. So we can. Friendship is getting massacred together. Yeah. I can admit I don't know what I'm watching when the game. So what you do. Yeah. Again, I've never done a live watch party. I've sat in with Dave a little bit. I've sat in with Yogi a little bit, but I've never done one from start to finish on my own channel. But my favorite movies are Crouching. Yeah, those are 2 good ones too. Those are good too. The Gladiators, all right. Yeah, Tough Times. Oh, are you? Okay, all right. Said Dances with Wolves. All right. So I asked for the chat. I got 3 out of 22 people that actually responded to me. 3 out of 22. So Sarah says, Polish says, and who was the other one? I forget who the other one was. Anyway, I'm going to think on it. Is at the end of the day, part of my problem is here in my studio, I don't have a TV. So I'd have to be watching it on my phone because half the time when I'm doing a live, I can't get the TV to work on the computer. So I'm going to think about it because I'm not sure which way I want to go. I'm not sure. Mateo says, I'll be at work, but a live would be my choice. All right. So far, I got 4. I got 4-0. I'll think about it. But real quick, I'm going to put it in the chat here real quick. If you guys could do me a solid, I'm going to put the episode for tomorrow. And I have a good sense that it's going to get spicy. He says do both. If only. No, yeah, yes and no. Y- I don't know that. I don't know that I have. It's fine. I've got the Spectrum app, so I could do it, but I got a 65-inch TV over in the family room, but then I'd have to move the mic and move the laptop and whatever else. So I don't know. I'll think about it. But you guys make this all worth it. I'm going to wrap up here in just a couple of minutes, but I put it in the chat. If you guys at the end of the show could click on that link, that'll just take you to the upcoming episode for tomorrow. If you could hit the like button on that, so we get the algorithm to push it out. If there's an episode that's been sitting out there for the next day and it's got more likes on it, then the algorithm pushes it out more. So if you guys could just hit the like button on that on your way out. Oh, and hit the like button on this episode if you didn't hit it on the way. You need to do a super chat for yeah. There's that. But here's the thing: the first time I ever do on this show, what you call it, a super chat or donations, it's going to be for my daughter who's going on a field trip for her social studies class. She's going to be going to Washington, D.C. and New York in the spring. So the fundraiser, that's the word I was looking for. The first time I do a real actual fundraiser where I ask you for your guys, it's going to be for her. So I'm going to say it like this. Oh, Luff, thank you so much. 828. Yeah, 828. I'm one at a time. That's all right. Shout out to B Watts one more time because I know he was 828. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Live chat on your phone while watching. Yeah, but again, I've done it on my phone. The microphone versus the Bluetooth headset. It's not even close. Like when I go on Vikings First and SKOL, like for the 2-minute warning while I'm still watching and I'm using my Bluetooth, and then I come into the studio here, and I call it a studio. It's like my spare bedroom, but whatever. You can tell the difference. And I couldn't possibly do a 3 to 4 hour episode on my headphones. It just sounds terrible. I want to mock Bob in the building. Shout out, Bob. What's going on? You're going to have to hit the rewind button because I'm 2 minutes from getting up out of here. But thank you so much for joining. I very much appreciate you. All right. So one more time, get your votes in. Should I just do a pregame show? Should I do the whole watch party thing? Shout out, Gary. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And honestly, if I were to do a fundraiser, there's a way that I can email you a link where it'll take you right to her page where you can donate the money to, because then, Uncle Sam won't take out the tax, whatever else. But bottom line is that's going to be what I do for the first time. Is going to be for her, not for TV in here. Absolutely not. Oh, she'd kill me. Be like, you bought another TV, Dad, for your room just so that you can do that. I'm like, yeah, but whatever. Frozen North, time to level up your technology. Live stream watches, basic people. Yeah, well, we'll see. Speaking of that, Dave, text me afterwards or call me afterwards and let me know about next Monday. And if we've gotten a ruling one way or the other. He knows what I'm talking about, which is fine. But shout out Gary one more time. Oh, you know what, Gary? Oh, what am I thinking? See, this is, I just got this here. So let's just go ahead and do this.
I give you 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you. And who else we got here tonight? Well, Gary got me twice in 2 Evil. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Yeah. I'm just going to have one parting gift of saying this. Why buy another TV? I got the 65 down here. I got the 42 in my bedroom, and then there's a 32 up there. I mean, could I bring the 32 down? I probably could, but yeah, it gives me the heebie-jeebies to moving stuff in here. But I appreciate you, Frozen. I appreciate you. And let me say one last time, and then for real, I'm going to get out of here before Dave says, Justin, just say goodnight and say goodbye like he did last Thursday. Doing these lives, these episodes, yeah, I'm going on my rants and I'm talking about the Vikings, but part of the reason my episodes go as long as they do is because I have the gift of gab, but it's also acknowledging you guys and putting stuff up and responding to you guys because there will be shows where I don't respond as much in the chats. When they get here, it'll be the first time. But having said all that, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. The support is unbelievable, and it makes it more fun to have you guys here. As I've said a million times, could Dave and I sit down and record a 25-minute podcast with just us? Yeah, we could. Kind of boring. Well, not totally boring, but what I am saying is you guys make this so much better. Shout out B Watts. Appreciate you. I got to get you one too. You know what? I'm going to get you this one. I appreciate you guys. In all seriousness, thank you so kindly for joining me. See you tomorrow night, if you so choose to. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to come on Under the Lights tomorrow night with me and Dave, because I'm guessing he's got a little he was tweeting out stuff early tonight. Oh, San Francisco's not unbeatable, and he gives out his stats for Brock Purdy and said, oh, the Cleveland Browns beat them. And then I replied to him like, here's Kirk Cousins' stats from yesterday. And oh, by the way, we barely beat Chicago and Carolina, whose defenses are trash. And he's just like, really? Why do you got to be that way? I'm like, I'm just pointing out facts just like you. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so kindly for joining me. Hit the like button on this episode on the way out. If you could go to the tomorrow episode, hit the like button there. I appreciate you. For now, as always, SKOL to the next episode. We will see you tomorrow night.